Good morning, guys. How are we all doing? Welcome to the new trading week. Happy Monday, everybody. I'm Dan from Trading with Dan. This is our Bitcoin morning update. So we shall go straight over to those Bitcoin 4-hour charts. Bitcoin on the 4-hour. Yesterday, you can see we came up to our trend line, managed to break it. And that gave us a nice pump up, actually also above this horizontal resistance, the one from 38 to 39,000, and then obviously also above this this previous lower high that was basically at that resistance level also. So it is good to see that we are making some progress to the upside. As you can see, we came down to the bottom. We basically came to the bottom of the range, and then so now we are making that beeline to the top of the range. You can see we broke the midpoint, hit the mid upper point, basically the middle of the upper zone, came back tested as support that mid zone, and then basically forward checked, back checked, and pay checked our way, potentially into this 42,000 level. That is the logical conclusion of this move, and at which point it will be a case of, do we break above, do we get rejected, come back to this support level, and then get supported and then move back up and take it out, or do we get rejected, come all the way to the midpoint, get supported, and then turn back up, or do we come back and test the whole downside? Either way, that's we'll be expecting one of those iterations of price action. But obviously we just have to wait to see how it works, see how it goes. It is just levels to levels within this range at the moment, until obviously we get above this 42,000, and then we can basically start to play in this range here. If that is to happen, the best case for the bulls in that case, if we do break above here, potentially then for us to move either to 46, or potentially even to this $50,000 level, which we'll actually need to extend along here, just so we can, because this would be an important level either. If we can make it to basically one of these levels, and then potentially pull back test this 42,000 level, get supported, then that could be the signal that we are going to continue bullish and take out these highs and go on to new all-time highs, quite probably 100k plus for Bitcoin. So that is also on the table. It is for the most part though. It is just good to see that within this range here we are away from the lower end of it, because obviously that's clearly where you have the high risk of losing that and then breaking to the downside. And clearly we all want to break to the upside, which is obviously more likely when we are closer to the upside. So yes, Ethereum, Bitcoin being a bit weak here, basically flirting around with this important horizontal. In the larger context, you could potentially see that bull flag that we that pennant, that symmetrical triangle that we were looking at yesterday. All I would say is this is a little bit worrying, because there is a path out of basically crypto into fiat, where you go from altcoins into basically Bitcoin, and then from Bitcoin into fiat. So with obviously altcoins suffering, and then a lot of that basically is what is pumping Bitcoin up. If we then see those funds exit Bitcoin, then that's obviously not good for upwards price action. But it doesn't necessarily have to be what is going on here. We could just be seeing the funds going into Bitcoin because whoever is expecting a break of this $42,000 level, and they want to be in Bitcoins, because obviously Bitcoin will most likely outperform in any aggressive price action above 42,000. The Ethereum USD pairing, holding in there or thereabouts. You can see within this wider range. I mean, there's not really a lot to look at here. It is quite similar to the Bitcoin chart, other than it is obviously weaker, as obviously shown by this weakness in the Satoshi pairing. Bitcoin dominance as well, as you can see, making that move up. We were kind of potentially expecting more basically higher price action when we kind of put in this low here, and yeah, we've got this first we've got this horizontal here that we're not too far from, and then we've obviously got the underside of the downward sloping channel sort of. We'll just get it so you can see it. The downward sloping trend line. It's not a channel, it's a descending broadening wedge. But either way, the downward sloping trend line, we can potentially come up and test that, depending on when it comes in. Could come in around 48%, 49%, and then I would expect a rejection off that, and then it's just a case of, do we then take out this low, get into this zone, or do we just print a higher low? So we've got to keep an eye on that. What I would, if I had my best guess, would be ultimately Bitcoin will break up. Maybe not necessarily in the immediate future, but it could do. When it does, obviously this will then accelerate to the upside, and then when Bitcoin does finally stabilize in range, find a new range at a higher level, this will start to come down, and alts will then start to have a bit of a party. That would be my best guess. Obviously stocks here looking or stonks, as we should call them, the stonk market. I don't think they call them that, they just call them stonks, don't they? But yeah, the stonk market. Yeah, looking pretty good here. I mean, clearly we have got a wedge here, but obviously it doesn't have to play out. I believe that we are in that Ludwig von Mises crack up boom where everything is basically going up. Bitcoin obviously had a pullback. Everyone got a bit excited, FOMOing into it at various levels on the way, including people getting distributed in that Wyckoff distribution, buying those highs, expecting the pumps up into the 100k. So that did have a nice technical correction, but nothing has changed fundamentally in any of these like risk asset markets. Stock's still looking good, dollar's still looking weak, and ultimately I'd expect Bitcoin to keep basically looking strong. Yeah, dollar index, as you can see also as well, it has got a decision on what it wants to do this week, but I suspect it's going to get rejected again here. If it doesn't, then well, we have a few targets, most notably this area here, but like I said, I do think this will be coming back down, and precipitating higher stock markets, and also a tailwind for Bitcoin, potentially into those 40Ks, maybe even to that 46K this week, if we do want to be particularly punchy. I mean, that would be a very good scenario. I don't attach a massive amount of probability to it, but it could very easily happen. We could break above 42, get to 46, and then it's okay. Then what I really then would want to see is us hold 42. I expect we'll get some sort of a pullback at some point, but we'd want to hold 42. We don't want a sort of like a swing failure bump and run above 42 into 46, back below 42, because then we would target 30k, and we could then at that point obviously lose 30k. We'd want to basically, if we break above, we want to hold 42k. It is an important level, and yeah, I mean, if we can then basically establish a range between even 42 and 46, 42 and 50, or 42 and 52, trade sideways like that for a month or so, I think that would be incredibly bullish and healthy for this market. So yeah, that would be something that we'd want to see. All this is obviously very forward thinking, because like I said, we've not even got into the 40,000s, let alone above 42 and held 42 yet. So we could very easily still trade sideways in this range for basically as long as we already have done already, which then would pretty much take us into July, maybe like another 3 weeks in this range. And that also would not be the worst thing, because they're basically anything other than taking out 30,000 is basically good. It's basically good, I believe. So good for the probability of higher prices, basically, of new all-time highs. So yeah, for our stochastic, moving up nicely here, obviously with price action looking good. 10 hour I expect has turned back up now, so we'll just wait for it to show itself. Yeah, 10 hours turned back up here as well. So this is obviously good, and in the bullish zone as well. So this is good for getting us up to that $42,000 level. 12 hour looking half decent as well. Daily looking very good as well. I think we did say basically when daily started moving, if daily gets up to basically all the way up, that will get us to 42, and then we just got to decide what we do at that point. 2-day starting to get going as well. It would be nice to see this sort of trend line we've got going broken, and at the very least, well, not the very least, but 2-day into the bullish half, then I think we'd have a very good chance of breaking above and holding 42. 3-day still going to get going. 5-day still got plenty of room to run. Weekly still coming down. Bi-weekly, monthly, all the rest of them still coming down. So we are obviously looking good. It's like I said, realistically, it's a game of these levels. It's the range that we're in. We want to break out the range to the upside, and then we can start to look for the forward check, the back check, and then the pay check from whatever levels we then decide to go to then. And that is about it, guys. I would like to say we've got an interesting week ahead of us, but basically until I work on the assumption that we're not going to break through 42k until actually we do break through, because basically these sideways ranging markets are what markets do for the most part, or what crypto market, what Bitcoin does for most of the time. So to basically target and bet on a break and a move up at any given point is usually not going to be the correct thing, because usually we do basically trade sideways within whatever range has been identified for that period of time. So yeah, there we go, guys. Happy Monday again, everybody. Let's hope we have a great week. So thanks for listening, and I shall speak to you guys soon.